What's up? It's Ballistic Beats, BLysticProductions. Today I'm finally getting around to doing something that I got a lot of requests for, and basically it's to do a MPC tutorial for beginners from start to finish, from turning it on to completing the sequence beat. Um, it's not scripted, so just want to throw that out there first. But if you bear with me, I'm gonna take you through my process and explain some things of what I'm thinking and how I actually lay out beats, as well as explain what the different areas of the MPC do. It would take several hours, like days probably, to explain everything in detail. So this isn't that, but it will tell you everything you need to know to make your first beat. Um, while you're going, if you come across anything that I don't explain or I don't answer, hit the comment section. And as long as it's something that I feel that can help others also, I can do an in-depth video on just that thing. So now that I did this for the whole workflow, the next steps will be to break it down and do tutorials on each individual topic or area. I just wanted to do this so you can get a quick jump start and go through and start making some tracks ASAP. But not to talk your head off, just show a little bit of appreciation if you want. Hit the like button and especially the subscribe button. That'll help a lot, and you also would want to catch some of that other content. Just getting started, going deep into this. If you check my channel, I have a lot of beat making videos with the MPC and synths and all that. So just check me out. Let me know what you think, and let's get right to this tutorial. All right, so here we go. The first thing we're gonna want to do is turn the MPC on, and we get the splash screen. I wish it was faster, but this is what we got for now. It could be worse. When you first get it, unless you never changed it, you're gonna get this demo screen. So personally, I turn it off, but I always want to start with an empty project. So down here, if you can see it, it says empty project. So we're gonna start there. I'm gonna jump right to the settings and project defaults, and new project dialog is what gives you that screen. So I'm gonna turn that off now before we even start. I just turned it back on for this. So all right, so pretty much what you got here is the main project screen, and if you look, you have sequences, tracks, and programs all within a project. A project is pretty much going to be the entire thing that you're working on. So if you're working on a beat or a song, everything in it is a project. All right, so as far as the sequence, that's going to be like a certain part of your song. It's kind of like a pattern in FL Studio, but a lot of MPC users don't mess with FL Studio. But the sequence is going to hold multiple tracks, multiple programs, all your instruments. You can pretty much make a whole beat, or at least the loop of all the instruments, and it's all can be in one sequence. But what you're gonna want to do to change sequences is, like, you can have a sequence for your intro, a sequence for the hook, a sequence for the verse one, a bridge, and blah blah blah. So you can name each one that. You can just like make everything, the whole song, on one sequence, and then you can copy it over and take some things out for the next, and so on. And then you can put them all in a certain order, and that way it kind of flows as a song at the very end. A track, you pretty much have this first little 4 squares here. That's like a program. Usually your drum tracks or sample tracks are going to be on there. Then you have this little plug, and that's going to give you the plugins like tube synth, electric bass line, or some of the defaults. You got this keyboard. That's going to be a key group, and you can use that for putting a sample or a sound on it. Like you can put a little bell one shot or something and assign it across all the pads, or all the keys if you have like a MIDI controller connected. So that's a good way to do stuff and make sure you're staying in the right key and all that. Like, even though this is drums, I like to put stuff like 808, stuff that you're gonna change the tune or the pitch on, and put that on a key group, so that way you can play along with the melody or the main sample or whatever you got going the easiest. Clips I hardly ever use, mainly doing hip hop and rap, R&B, trap, all that kind of stuff. Scenes is kind of like Ableton, if you're familiar with that. You can pretty much get like a lot of ideas and stuff just on different pads and just launch them all at different times and play them. It's hard to explain because, especially like I say, I don't use it, so sorry. I'll probably do a video on that after I do more clips, but if you do regular beats, you will never need it. It'll just give you a way to get the ideas out different, so it could be useful for that. MIDI I actually use all the time because I have a few synthesizers and stuff like that, and those hook up through MIDI, through USB, or there's MIDI connectors on here if you have external gear. When you choose a MIDI track, it just gives you control. Like, these are the notes for pad perform, which is different ways to play instruments or plugins or whatever with the pads on here. So if I hooked up my Moog or my Korg synthesizer, I can play that here using the MIDI track, and it'll record the MIDI notes, not the sound. But as long as the sound is connected, you'll hear it. That will be another video also, but MIDI is dope. You can use this as the brain of a big setup, and it's always cool to have that. CV, the Live Mark 1, which I have, doesn't have CV. The Live 2 and the 1, and I believe the X also does. So that's another way to hook up certain synthesizers, Euro racks and all that. So that's a quick overview of that. One of the first things you're gonna want to do, of course, is get some sounds. So there's a few ways to do that. If you have a 1 or a Live 2, you probably have a browse button. On here, the menu button has a secondary function of browse, which means I can hold shift and hit menu, and that'll give me my browse screen. If I go back to the main menu, I can double tap menu, and that'll give me my browse. Or finally, you can hit menu and then go to the browser there. And I said finally, but there actually is one other way. A lot of people really like the 1 and the X because it has all the extra buttons and stuff. The Live does have fewer buttons, but it does have some cool shortcuts too. Like, you can literally hold menu and press the pad that corresponds with whatever's on the screen here and go to that thing. So if you want to go to sample edit and you get used to going to sample edit a lot, you can hold menu and hit that pad and you're in sample edit. Hold menu, hit this one, you're in program edit, list edit, browser, whatever you want to do. You want to change the color of the pads, hold menu, hit that last one, and we're in the pads. Colors, you can have it going by the velocity that you hit the pads. You can change it to fixed if you just want to set the pads to a certain color. And boom, I'm gonna do this. What looks good with this? Let me not get distracted. Yeah, forget that. We pinned it back on classic, and we're gonna continue with this. So I'm going to browser. In the browser, you have content. Like, under this content thing, you have all your internal sounds and all that, even your My Files, which is your own stuff, and Splice on I think the one has Splice, but I know the others does. So you can connect your Splice account. That's another thing too. But it's cool. You can download all your Splice content into here, and that's just dope. I'm gonna go to places, and this is where you see all your drives. The internal is the internal hard drive for your your MPC. A lot of people don't want to use that because if you connect in controller mode to your computer or whatever, you really won't be able to drag things from, it won't see that drive. You won't be able to drag things from this MPC into the computer if you want to, say, put your stuff in Ableton or another DAW just to finish it up. So this MPC Live here is actually my internal SSD that I put inside, and that's what I work off of mostly. I'm gonna go to Ballistic Sounds and go down to Ballistic Drum Kits. This is just the path of folders that I put in my drive. Elixir Drum Kit, you can't even see it probably. How can I do that? You can't see it, but this is the Elixir Drum Kit. Now you can see it. That's my personal drum kit. It's available on my site if you like it. This ain't about that, but just throwing it out there. So the first thing I'm gonna do is find a kit. That's pretty punchy. And the way I like to assign samples is to find the sound, click the pad, it lights up. Then you can hit load on the screen and now it's there. I think that's the quickest way. So say I want to go and get a hi-hat like that, hit the pad, hit load. Now I got that. Let's get an open hi-hat. That's cool. Hit that, load, and we good with that. Another way is to use down here this assign samples or sample assign. Let me get some more samples first. That'll make more sense. Back to browse. So that's a way to do it if you're like just going through and you're like, okay, that's cool. And so just pick it. That's cool. That. And you don't even know if you're going to use everything, but you can just go through, load a bunch of samples. And what I'm doing is I'm pushing the jog wheel in to pick them. So I picked all those samples. I don't know if I'm going to use them all, but when you go to sample assign, all the samples that you picked, period, show here. So if I want to put that snare on pad 3, I can pick it here or over here and then click and it's there. So it's just another way to do it if you just want to get a whole pool of samples first and then go through. What else I need? A clap. Cool, simple. Right there. Anything else? Oh, of course, an 808. Let me use that one. All right. So you picked your sounds. Now you're ready to make a beat. One thing you want to check first is the BPM. Mine is currently on 140. I set it to 140 by default by going into the main menu, clicking this gear for settings and project defaults, and there's a default tempo here. So I set that to 140 because I did come from FL Studio and still use it, but I started there. I got used to starting at 140. A lot of trap stuff now is 140 because a lot of people use FL and just get in and start making it. So that's pretty much why a lot of people use that. It's the same as 70. 140 is just considered double time. And you can set the default bars and all that here too. My default bars is 4. You can go up to 8 or 16 or however you want to make your track. We're going to start with 4. And so all those drums I loaded up are already on this program 1 track. And basically I'm I'm at 4 bars, 140 BPM. I'm gonna record. You can hit record to arm it. It starts flashing. Then when you hit play, it plays from wherever you are. I just kind of get in the habit of always using play start because it'll always start at the beginning when you start recording, and it'll give you that count in too. So let's hit play start and record some hi-hats. Actually, I'm gonna start with the clap. All right, had to turn that down. It was coming in kind of hot. All right, so as you see, once it got through that 4 bars, it looped back over and it switched to overdub automatically. I always use overdub anyway because that's just how I like to record. Record goes through once, but when you're looping, overdub is actually gonna allow you to go back in and add other notes without erasing what you just did. So the reason I skipped the hi-hat was, for one, that ain't a hi-hat no more. I changed it earlier in my example. So where I went back into the browser, sample assign. That's my hi-hat that I had there. So I'm just gonna put it back there. The reason I stopped because I need to explain these up here. So you have note repeat, which you can hold down or you can double tap and it'll latch, or to latch you can also shift and hit note repeat and that'll give you this. And you see it's velocity sensitive, so if I push it a little, it's low. If I push harder, it gets louder. That's by default, unless you hit full level, which is this other button. Then it's always going to play as loud as it can. You can also double tap that or shift tap it and you get half level, which is pretty good. I'm gonna leave this at half level actually. 16 level, I'll show that in a little bit. So let's get the hi-hats in. I'm gonna use these options down here. It changes the speed. So you got eighth notes, 16, 32nd, 64th, and triplets over here. You can use this on any of the other ones. It gives that triplet. So yeah, just get creative, do what you want to do with that. So I'm here overdub, play start, and start with some eighth notes. So yeah, just play around with those different speeds and you'll be good. So now we got the clap and the hi-hat. I'll add the snare next. And you can just keep it playing, and that way you can just hit overdub at any time and add your next sound in. All right, so one of the next things we have is 16 levels. 16 levels is going to take one sample and spread it out over all the pads. And that's what's used a lot for like 808s and if you have an instrument sample that you want to play different notes in. So this is the 808 pad. If I hit first you have to hit the pad that you want to do, then hit 16 level and it'll affect the last pad that you hit. So that's the 808 for me. There's multiple ways to do it. What I just described was tune. That's the main sound, and you can go up. And you got that. Velocity, it gives 16 levels of velocity, so you can go course you got that. That's like the same note, but you change the velocity for each one. And you got other ways too. Those are the main two that I use, and that'll get you going. So let's record an 808. I'm gonna just freestyle. So now we got the 808 going. I'm gonna add a kick over top. I have to turn off 16 level first, and now I can play my kick. I'm gonna wait for it to loop back around and hit overdub. All right, so I think that's good for a drum track. What I can do now is move on to a new track because I want to add a sound in, like everything's a sound instrument. So I'm gonna click this. Multiple ways to do it. You can double tap, go to the next unused track, which is track 2, or you can just highlight it and turn the wheel and go to whatever track you want. So I'm gonna go to track 2. I'm not gonna put another drum track on here right now, so I'm gonna choose the second thing for plugin. Tube synth is default. So I'm gonna click where it says default for the sound and find the actual sound that I want to use. You got synth, lead, pad, all those different things. So I'm gonna choose a synth. You can highlight it here and just turn and switch through them too. I don't want to waste too much time, but gotta be something decent. So basically, if you hit pad perform, you have the option to choose a certain key, and that'll only put those keys on your pads for you. So that's pretty cool to help you get things and stay in key without knowing too much theory. You also have chords, and that'll actually, same thing, you choose a key, choose an octave, which means you can play this C sharp chord there. You can go up. We'll change that to 1, 3, and 5. You can put it on progressions. And that is cool. So now that I'm doing the melodies, it's easier to do the 808 for me after the melody. So this is a chance to show you how to delete something. If I want to go back, I'm gonna go back to track 1 because I want to get my melody in before that 808. The 808 is there. So I'm gonna choose this grid option here. And if you choose the grid, you actually have all your sounds laid out there for the track that you're in. Like that's the hi-hats, and you can click the pad that corresponds to that sound, and you can delete one or all of the each little thing is called an event. You can delete those. So let me show you this right here. This magnifying glass gives you the option to stretch and move around on here. The next thing, the square, is how you select things. So you can select these notes, these, whatever. Next you have the eraser, which self-explanatory. You can tap on something and erase it, and click undo and bring that back. And the pencil, which means you can put in notes, and undo gets rid of them. So let's say I want to go deeper in and take a few notes out of the 808. That's my 808 on row 6. I'm going to play it and pay attention to these two notes right here. Say I don't want those two notes. I'm going to hit the selection thing, get rid of those two notes like that. I can hold shift and cut, and now they're gone. Or I can get the eraser and just tap on them, and they're gone. And now we got this. All right, so that's that, but I want to get rid of all of them. So if I click away, click on that track, it highlights everything on that track. And if I hit shift and cut, now all my 808 is gone. That's just the kick left. So now let's go back to track 2, back to pad perform, and let's find something to put in here. That's so simple, but let's do that. So since I did that on chords, say I want to put another sound. Now I can go to track 3. I want to get a new plugin, a new sound. I'm going to do a lead. Pad perform. It's still in the same thing, and it's still on progressions. I'm going to put it on notes because I just want to play one note at a time. But since it's in the same key, everything will still sound alright together. So it's no wrong notes. Let's figure something out. Something random, simple. All right, so now we got that. And basically, remember what I said earlier about key groups. It's a good chance to move that 808 to a key group. So I'm gonna choose track 4, and I'm gonna make it a key group track. For the sample, I'm gonna go to menu and program edit. And let's see, we'll choose samples at the bottom. Any screen. There's no sample on there right now, so I'm gonna find that 808, which was it that one? It is. So I'm gonna choose that, go here, pad perform. I can take the octave down, gives me lower notes. Let's find something that works. Keep it simple. Say that lead is too loud. What you can do is, let's go to track view. Under here we have track view under that grid view. So these lines here is track view. Which track has my lead on it? Is it 3? Yeah, so number 3. If number 3 is too loud, I'm gonna click here on the volume. These here, it goes up to 127 at full volume, and you can lower it there. More so the level. I said volume, level, same thing. Let's play it all, and I'm gonna turn it down to somewhere where I want it. Not that low. The 808 there. Click the 808 level. I really don't want the 808 too low. Maybe there. So say you got the drum track here and you want to turn some drums down. That turns all the drums down on that track, and we don't want that. So to fix the drums, you want to go into pad mixer. That way you have a different level for each pad, and you can turn down the corresponding drum sound. So if my snare is too loud, I can click here for the snare. Or if you want to see what it is, you can say, that's my snare. It highlights automatically. And turn that down. You can also notice that when I click this row, this little orange ring appears around here. That means that the cue links are set up for each one of these 4 pads. The 4 cue links correspond to that. So my snare would be this third one. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Third one. That's the snare. If I want the hi-hat, I can use this. It's the 4th one, so I'm gonna use this 4th cue link. That actually doesn't work by just hitting it. So you actually have to use the cue link button. And if you see using the cue link button, it jumps up to the next row. I rarely use the cue links. I probably should more to probably make things easy, so my bad. But that's how you use them. Let's turn down that hi-hat. So you can turn it up. Turn it down. Right there. Go back down to that clap. I want to turn the clap down some. Alright, so that's that. You can put effects on things. If you want to put an effect on, so say I want to put some reverb on this lead. There's a little eyeball right here, which is to show or hide these extra settings. Inserts would be the area where you put effects on things. So I'm gonna choose, just click in there. It gives you the 4 inserts. You could put 4 inserts on a whole program or on a whole track, or on each pad can have 4 different inserts or effects on each pad, which is dope. This is for the lead though, so let's go. You can put an EQ on it. Let's put a high pass filter on there to cut out some unnecessary low end or whatnot. You can click the pencil. It gives you the actual thing here. I can adjust the frequency right there. So everything under that frequency is cut out. because it's a high pass filter. Let's go up somewhere around there. Oh, that's unneeded because it pretty much sound the same, so why have that frequency in there? And that's good enough. I really just want the low end to come through, so I can click back and go to the next effect and put that reverb on. Like I said, I'm gonna use air reverb. Just find a preset. That's cool. I'm gonna click mix, and anytime you see that Q and that orange exterior, you can use the Q links for it. So I'm gonna turn the mix on that down. Turn the room size down some too. About right there. But you can mess around and go through and see what effects are available. Back here, so say I want to put some reverb on my clap. So I'm gonna hide this, and we're gonna go back to the drum track for one, and we're gonna show this. If you look up top, there is a pad. There is these 4 boxes, which is program edit, and you have track edit, and you have this crown for like master. I'm gonna go to pad, and you can click the pad and it selects that, and you can have different effects and everything on each pad. So I'm gonna choose that snare, click inserts, go to air reverb, and we got some reverb going. Let's get it here. That's more like it. Boom. I had my drums solo. Now I don't. All right, so we're going kind of long. I'm gonna show you how to get different variations of your tracks going and map it out. If you have anything specific that I jumped over or didn't mention, definitely hit the subscribe. Yeah, do that too. Hit the comment section and let me know, and I'll circle back and try to do a dedicated video on it. What I'm gonna do now, so everything playing right now is in this sequence. So I'm gonna hit the pencil, and I want to copy this whole sequence, and it's gonna copy from sequence 1 to sequence 2. And you can name it whatever you want. Like if you want to put a verse section and now we're going to do the verse, you can name it verse or whatever. I guess I'll do that. Verse. Boom. Do it. Now it's going to copy it to sequence 2 called verse. We got sequence 1, which we didn't name. I'm going to just put chorus on there. So to rename, click this little A symbol with the cursor next to what you're trying to do. If you're trying to rename the track, do it on the track sequence right here, and we'll just call that hook, because I usually want everything to play on the hook. Or you can name it hook 1 for the first part of the hook, hook 2 for the second. So let's go back to verse. We got the same thing that we had on the other thing going, but now I can take out something. So say that synth line I want to take out. So we'll go to track 3, which was that. I can hit solo and see. Like we don't want that to play when the verse come in. So I can go to track view. Not track view. I can go to grid view and basically select all of it. Everything selected. And I'm gonna just cut that all the way out. There's other ways to do it, but that's how I'm gonna do it right now. So we got this. All right, so say that's the whole verse. It's basic, but it's just a tutorial. So let's go back to 1 because we got everything planned there, and let's copy that again. I'm gonna do copy sequence to 3, and I'm gonna do intro. Boom. Copy it to 3, call it intro. We on that now. So let's say I don't want any drums playing for the intro. What I can do is go to track 1, which is all my drums. Click there, and I can hit clear. That's another way to delete it completely. That just took the plugin off and everything. And if we go to like another track, it's still there. We go there, it's gone. So I want to do the same thing with the 808 on this intro track. So my 808 was on 4. I'm gonna go to the pencil, clear that out. Again, if you want to keep the instrument there and maybe change the melody, you can just go to grid view, and change up the melody, make it hit a few times, or just kind of make it more interesting. I'm not gonna use it for this beat, so I just cleared it out completely. So now we got that sequence for the intro, this sequence for the hook, and this one for the verse. So to put the song together, one of the main ways in the way it's kind of meant to do it, people found easier ways that work for a better workflow for them, but you want to use song mode. So I'm gonna go in my menu and go to song. So you want to hit insert as many times as for as many sections as you want. I'm gonna hit here. I want the intro to play first, so I'm gonna put that for number 1. I want the intro to play for 4 bars, so that's 1 loop. Then it'll go to the hook. The hook is also 4 bars, but I want it to be 8. So I'm gonna click here next to 1. I want that to loop twice. Go to the verse. I want that to loop like 3 times. That'll give me a 12 bar verse. And then if I hit insert again, I want to go back to the hook. Loop twice. And let's use the intro as an outro too. So let's say this is our quick song, and you want to play that whole thing. It goes like that. To the verse. So this is one way to do it. I actually like to export everything and put it into a different DAW. But as far as working all the way in the MPC, this is one of the best ways to sequence. Not the only way, but it's the most straightforward way. Say that's a quick 1 verse song with 2 hooks, and then it goes to the outro there. That's gonna play twice. And there we go. What you can also do with that, you can convert the whole song to a sequence. This convert to sequence button down here. It will go to the next available sequence, which is 4. I would probably put that somewhere way down the line that I won't be using. So I'm gonna put it on like sequence 10 and click do it. Now if I go to sequence 10, I have the whole song there. So if I go to grid view, let's see, let's go to track 1 where we know some stuff is. Go to grid view. You can see it actually laid the whole song out on that track, and you can do that for each track and basically change stuff up individually. That's kind of the way some people like to do it. Instead of going and doing the song mode, some people just like to set their bars for like the length of a whole song and just copy the whole thing over a long a long grid, and then just go in and piece it together and take things out individually. So later on, I think that would be a good thing to do. I don't recommend starting that way, just to get the feel and know how things were made to be. Then you can come up with the tricks and learn little tips and things like that. All right, so that's what we got for today. I pretty much feel like we did cover everything you need to make your first beat. Again, if you have any questions that I didn't answer, hit the comment section or hit me up on my socials. It's at BLysticProductions, spelled the same way as this channel, on Instagram, at BLystic on Twitter. Also, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. If I helped you at all, if you learned something, hit the like button and subscribe and tell me what you think. Do all that. I try to answer everybody, and I will accommodate. I'm trying to get content together, so suggestions helps, and I'll probably make a video on most of those things. But that's what we got. Y'all stay safe. Till next time, hope to hear from you. Go make some beats.